Hey, everybody, this is Mary,
And this is Julie.
and you are listening to the High Priestess Hype Club. Hey, everybody. Hello, hello.
Hi.
Hi. Hey, we have a September survival guide for you guys
Yay.
on this week's show. So, welcome to this week's show. I am excited to be here, Jules. We got a bunch of stuff happening in September. I feel like I say this every month now, though. Like, we've got a bunch of stuff happening constantly.
Look, stuff's just popping off left and right.
Right? Right?
It's been a lot this year.
It's been a lot. So what we want to do is talk to you guys about what's going on astrologically, just so you can see what's happening. If you have your astrological chart, you can always compare what we're telling you to your own personal chart so you can see how this will personally affect you. And the other thing we're going to talk about is a fall altar. Since we're coming into fall, I know, Julie, like you're all about the cozies and the altars and like really, but you do it so precisely and so well and so pretty. You have to talk about a fall. It's true.
That's really sweet. Okay.
Truth. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll do it.
So let's jump into some astrology first. Just
Let's go.
Yeah.
I
So
need to know.
yeah, I know. Uranus is going to go retrograde at the beginning of September. And so yeah,
Sorry.
It's okay. It's in the sign of Taurus. And the reason why I think this is important is because Taurus represents our financial stability and our material stability. So with it going in retrograde, it means that we're going to have to revisit some of those things. Like, are we spending too much money? Do we have those subscriptions that we are just like, listen, both hands are up, girl.
I know.
Both hands are up. I'm like using my own list in my head.
Okay.
Universe. Yeah. Subscriptions you got to cancel. Yes, absolutely. Like,
yes,
so
definitely.
We have to take a look back at that. The other thing that can happen is financial things can pop out of, like a surprise. Now, let's hope they're good surprise. Right.
Yeah.
Not like all of a sudden a bill popped up that you forgot about. So we have to reevaluate possessions and like things we have. Is it good that maybe we sell some stuff? We get rid of some clutter. This is really a focus on, like, I know we do spring cleaning, but I think this is almost also like a fall cleaning.
Ooh,
yeah,
I like fall cleaning.
I do too. And
you guys may or may not know this, but it makes sense because I'm getting that urge that I get a couple times a year to rent a dumpster and throw out everything.
Yes.
Have I done it? No. Do I get the deep urge and price it? I do.
Sure. And it may be
at a dumpster this year. We'll take a picture. We'll post it. We'll see what happens.
I was going to say, I think this might be the time. Seriously. But it's so, yeah, guys, just be ready to, if you can stock a little money aside, if you can. I know sometimes that's hard, but just be aware something might pop up that you have to pay attention to.
Yeah.
All right. And quickly. So just keep that in mind. New moon in Virgo. So new moons are important. We like to have fresh starts. I know I like to have a new fresh start. You can think of your new moon as a fresh start every month when you have your new moon. So if you're restarting old habits, if you're restarting an old habit or you're starting a new habit or you want to put something in motion, you have a 30-day goal, a great time to start is on a new moon. With it being in Virgo, so you think about our Virgos, it's health, it's work, it's schedules, it's systems. Yeah. So if you're trying to do something to help your health, like I'm really needing to start my exercise program again, this would be a great time for me to set a 30-day goal, to the next new moon.
And look, you've been utilizing your like bullet journal. You can always add some stuff in there. You can track it, Virgo style.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, because our Virgos, folks, love to track and to show accomplishment to their goals and their systems. Like, look at how my system works so well. Yeah. Right. That's a Virgo energy. So that's all the stuff. So think about new health things, new like work ideas, things you want to put in place. Maybe you want to rearrange your desk. We're not near this yet, but I decided to get a second monitor because I'm like, I need something new. Right.
I love a lot of monitors.
So that's the thing, guys. That's a good time. It's a good time to get one. New moon. So
there you go. Yeah. You could get a full Mission Impossible setup with everything.
My God.
I know. Was it Mission Impossible?
Matrix? Matrix has one of those.
There's that, but wasn't there? No, it's the Tom Cruise movie. Y'all, I'm so ADD today.
Isn't that Mission Impossible? He's
It
in Mission
is, but it's
Impossible.
the one where David, you might have to cut this. It's the one where they had the psychics in the water. It was,
Oh, I
5
didn't
minutes
see
in the
it.
future. Maybe my brain will remember later
Right.
in the middle of us talking about something else.
Right.
Please continue. I apologize.
No, you're
Minority
great.
Report.
There we go.
Minority Report. Okay.
See,
Continue.
I couldn't move on until we did that. See, and then your brain went boop, and that was that. It was excellent.
That's the setup I want.
That's the setup I want. I do. But new healthier habits, guys. That's your new moon in Virgo. And remember, moons, you feel them 2 days before, 2 days after. So that means the energy is good 2 days before, 2 days after. So if you miss your moon, which so September 3rd to September 7th. Yes, September 5th is your on the nose date, but you have some time there. And we've got a lunar eclipse coming up too, guys. So we'll talk about that.
Oh, we're back in eclipse season.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, here we are. Yep.
Interesting.
Now, a couple days before that, and I apologize for kind of going out of order here, but Mars, the planet of action and passion and drive and your work and things like that, moves into the sign of Cancer.
Okay.
Now, Mars doesn't usually like to be in watery signs. They like to be in fire signs. Mars, it's like, ugh, you're going to, imagine someone saying oh, you're trying to hug me. You're trying to bring your emotions in on me. I don't want that. That's like Mars. Oh, don't hug me.
Right.
But, sometimes Mars has to get a hug. So
fire signs like snugs too.
We need a bumper sticker that says
that. Catch us as we're running. Right. We like them too.
We like them. Yes. So you might feel a little more sensitive than you usually do.
Great.
And so it may be one of those things where someone hurts your feelings and instead of just coming right back at them like you usually would, you cry, or you just want to hug someone a little bit more and not fight with them. It's like one of those things. So also being in the sign of Cancer, it's taking care of home and family.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So this may be time to say, hey, family, let's do new, sitting down to dinner together if you haven't done that in a while, or, cleaning up a part of the house that you'd like to do something new in as a family. These are Mars is sort of encouraging that energy, but really, again, it's also don't hug me. Hey, so.
Well, maybe do, but just real fast. Okay.
Yeah, real fast. Right. We're not going to tell anybody about this. That's how Mars we're not going to tell anybody about this. Right. It's one of those. So that's going to go through mid-October, guys. So you're going to be feeling that for about 6 weeks. And as we get into spooky season too. So yeah. Oh, and that may be something else. You may be decorating your house for Halloween or
That's
Samhain.
What I was going to say, fall or Samhain. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is good that we're talking about this fall altar because, with Mars and Cancer, you're going to come up with some creative stuff to do and you'll fall through on it. Yeah. So there you go. Then we have an asteroid that I like to talk about when I'm doing readings for folks. And of course, I like to give you the information here, but Pallas Athena, she is an asteroid. So
tell us about her.
Yeah. So what that means is an asteroid just means a minor planet. It's a little bit smaller. So it's not one of the 10 major planets that are out there. But Pallas Athena is it's named after Athena, the goddess Athena, because a lot in astrology is, named after the Greeks. But Athena was a badass. Athena was a great orator, a great speaker, a great teacher, a great negotiator, right? But also, if you couldn't get that done, you couldn't negotiate. She would just take up your sword and be like, hey, I'll meet you out in the battlefield. We'll see how it goes. Right.
Yeah.
So with Pallas and
we'll work this out.
We'll work this out. Right. Right. So that might be a place, guys, because it's going to be in the sign of Sagittarius.
Sagittarius, is this giving? I'm like, is this giving Michelle Obama at the DNC vibes?
Yes.
Is that what we're kind of feeling here?
Yes.
Okay.
It is actually.
I love that.
That's an excellent description of it. And we're not partisan necessarily, guys, but I wish I could remember someone on the Republican side that I could say was the same energy from a woman. And if I do, I will bring it up. I'm sorry if I can't remember it, but yes, definitely Michelle Obama at the DNC.
Michelle Obama is everything. It's okay.
Yep.
Just put it on me.
It's fine. All right. Just saying, I can't remember. I mean, it's about that passion and it's about that speaking with a purpose. So, there is going to be times that you're going to want to speak from the heart, but also you want to have facts to back things up. So from September 12th to November 20th, which is when this is happening, you need to go into your negotiations or And negotiations don't have to be, formal work negotiations. Sometimes you're negotiating with your kids over
Girl.
time, right? Yeah. You want to make sure that you have your facts and you have the emotions behind it. So really, if you're passionate about something, you're going to have heightened intuition. You're going to feel like, okay, I can do something different here and I'm strong enough to do it.
Yeah.
Right. But it's going to be sort of on the higher spiritual level, because Sages are very much into like, what's the higher purpose? It could also be some folks may find themselves traveling internationally or doing something internationally with this. Yeah. Because Sag does represent some international travel or international connections. So we might see that also. So like I said, if you're going to do something at work, say you're going to negotiate, you better have some facts with you when you walk through the door. Okay. Because be prepped, because it is going to be a little bit of a fiery discussion. Yeah. So you got to be ready for it. And again, fiery doesn't mean bad. Fiery doesn't mean a fight. It just means important. Again, it's like watching one of the conventions. There's real fiery language happening there.
Yeah.
And it's good. It's good.
Yeah.
As we said, represented by Michelle Obama. I love her. Yes, I do too. I do too. So we mentioned the full moon lunar eclipse in Pisces. So the thing
Pisces
about
too,
so the thing about that is you're going to be feeling more emotional. You're going to be feeling like injustices very strongly, because Pisces, even though it's not necessarily a justice sign, it is about the institutions and the like schools and people are going to be feeling things around those institutions.
Sure.
So there's going to be a lot of emotion. So for example, like just if there's a certain issue you're passionate about, that's going to be even more heightened, So just be aware that you're going to want to do something. You're going to want to be in service to those who are suffering or who you feel like are suffering and helping them. But, full moons, guys, are endings. So you may be feeling something a little more intense on September 18th. So again, 2 days before, you'll start feeling it on the 16th. 18th on the nose, 2 days after September 20th. So right in that time frame, there may be a dramatic ending or a dramatic, like a change in your life, because lunar eclipses are a bit.
They're kind of chaotic and intense, right?
Intense, yeah.
Yeah, they can bring big shifts. And I've heard like people have different theories on like, do you do magic during this time? Do you not? I think that for me, it's kind of like, I mean, you can, but you don't know how that's going to go.
Right.
You don't know how it's going to actually turn out. You're in a very chaotic kind of situation. So, and it'll last until the next lunar eclipse, right? So that's usually like 6 months.
6 months. Right. Right.
So
you got it all right.
It's going to be chaotic set up for a while.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So you may want to cool it that day. You may not want to do the magic.
Maybe we don't.
Right.
Maybe that full moon, we just kind of keep to ourselves and go, hey, girl. And
hey, girl.
Hey, girl, love you. Yeah.
Or the other thing I might mention,
please.
If you want to, some people like, but I want to do something like, okay.
Yeah.
You can do an ending that will bring a new beginning. So in other words, I am ending that feeling of inadequacy about my art. I'm ending that because now I want something different to happen. So you can do things like that if you're really like, I want to take advantage of this lunar eclipse. But again, Julie is absolutely correct.
Instead of trying to manifest something, it's probably a little safer, and it matches with the full moon energy we're hitting. Like then we're going to be in a waning time, that it'll be a way to release it. And you may not know how it's going to leave you, but it will.
Right. So you're not going to have control of how to leave you. Guys, so remember that. Like, so for example,
I'm like, as a type A person, this is why I get like, oh, eclipse energy.
I am so glad you brought it up. No, I really, like, in talking about this the other night, I forgot to talk about this. So I'm glad you brought it up. But seriously, and now it's like left my head. So let me think for a second. So for example, you decide that you want to release any energy around not getting paid enough at work. So so you're like, I'm going to get paid more at work. Right. But depending on how you do the magic, how you get paid more as work is that you get let go from the job you're at and you pick up a new job where you make more money. See, so you have no control over
Right.
how
Like,
that's going to
is it a
happen.
raise? Is
Is
it
it
this? Is it a
right?
new job? Is it an additional job?
Right.
Right.
Right. So that's the thing, guys. So if you're going to do magic around that time, and really this is true for all magic, but especially during eclipse time, because it's
Yeah.
such a chaotic energy,
Yeah.
you might really have no control over how that magic works. And
Yeah.
hey, listen, if you're up for some adventure, I do it. But yeah, not that I haven't gotten bit in the ass before by doing magic on a lunar or a solar eclipse.
Look,
So
I don't know why. I know we were talking about it and I don't know why,
yeah,
but I got like this vision in my head of like, it's so stupid, but of
no, I
like
love it.
Will Ramos like jumping like a fucking like dirt bike while like holding like throwing like firecrackers. Like you don't know how this shit's gonna
It's
turn
like,
out, but we're doing something big. Like, and I don't usually have just like moments where I see stuff like that, but that's what I saw, and I was like, well,
oh, wow. Yeah,
well, if we're gonna let go something, let's just prepare for it to be kind of wild.
right.
Doesn't
Not that,
mean it's bad.
yeah. Yeah. Not that Julie doesn't have a couple of kids that may try to attempt
Oh,
that.
please, please no.
So yeah, we don't
We'll
know how
see
this is
what
going to turn
happens.
out. Right. No. All right. So we have a couple of other things we want to keep going.
Keep going.
Just I'm like, oh God, there's, so the end of the month is going to be interesting because we have the sun entering Libra.
Mm-hmm.
We have the fall equinox, which is also Mabon.
Yay.
So sun entering Libra time, we're talking about trying to feel more balanced. Going to be more in our thoughts because Libra is an air sign. And we want cooperation. We want things like, join hands. Let's do this together. Also, though, during Mabon, I used to hear Mabon as the like, here, we gotta clean things up because this is like the start to a new year.
Sure.
And I used to kind of be like, I don't know about that. And now I'm like, no, that's pretty
spot on.
Pretty spot on because you're really like preparing for winter and you're shedding things. And so I really feel like Mabon is saying like, okay, this is what you're going to carry into the next year. So you need to take stock of what you have right now because we need to prepare for winter and be kind of happy where we are because we're going to spend a lot of time with ourselves in wintertime.
Sure. Yeah.
Right. So
yeah,
it's taking stock of that. And I think this all happens on September 22nd, guys. So, even if you take a little time,
wow.
yeah, it's a lot happening right all at once. Right.
Mm-hmm.
But if you take some stock of your life, and again, with it being the sun entering in Libra, you can take that day to kind of figure out like what you're proud of yourself for this year, what you'd like to let go of, what you're going to carry forward.
Yeah.
It's just really kind of taking inventory. And I think that's a lot of what our witch ancestors did was they were taking inventory of what they had, but like physically what they had, right? We're doing this in a different way. I mean, we may be doing it physically too, but also what we've are experiencing or what we're dealing with emotionally
in
too.
like a modern world.
Modern world.
And like
yeah.
Yeah.
That
makes sense.
Yeah. So that's why I think we get cozy, like comfy, like, fireplaces start up and people get out their blankets. And, I'm speaking from the Northeast, guys. If y'all in California and it's always warm, beautiful. New Louisiana, miss you all my NOLA folks. But I know for, this time of year, we start to go into the fall and the cooler weather and the pretty leaves and all that. And so it's happening through nature and us too. Like we're letting go of things. We're shedding some of those beautiful things that we've had this year so that we can do other things. So we're going to have a show on Mabon and Julie, we're going to talk magic. I know Julie's got some stuff prepared for that show. So if you're working on stuff, you're just wondering what to work on until then, just taking some inventory about your life, your work, your health, your just everything. Just take some inventory, right? Get a notebook, write it down, whatever. Do it on a, password protected thing.
Hey, Alexa,
Alexa agrees with us. Yay!
Yay! Take out your trash cans. Yes. Christ, I'm so sorry. This is like the noisiest on my end today. I'm so
You're
sorry.
fine. No,
my neighbor's like sawing things. I don't know how much is coming through. There's hammers.
There's
kitchen noise.
Do I can't hear anything on your side, so you're good. I just heard that Alexa,
except the robot.
yeah, but Alexa was agreeing with us. That's what I think. Take out the trash. See? Hey.
Well, we can keep that in.
We can keep that right. All right, 2 more things I'm going to talk about before, Julie talks about creating a fall altar, which I can't wait to hear about that. But we have Venus entering Scorpio on September 25th, which is where my Venus is. I know. And it's going to be passionate relationships, deep, intense connections. We're going to want to be close to people. We're going to want to see people. We're going to want to hug people, things like that. So get your sexy on during that time, guys, because that's what Scorpio is. It's all about the sexy and the mysterious and, a little bit of like sassy. So if you're not usually that way, Venus is going to be supporting you in that. So, Beyonce talks about a freakum dress. I mean, just do what you think is best.
There you go.
Right?
You go.
Get your freakum dress on. Yeah. And then the final planet change that's happening, or a thing that I want to highlight, at the end of the month, Mercury is entering Libra. Now, Mercury likes being in Libra. Mercury is a planet about communications, as we know, and commerce and travel. With it being in the sign of Libra, it's an air sign. So it's all about like kind of keeping all of that in your mind, keeping all the lists together. Diplomacy, if you need to build relationships and connect with people, great time to network. When
so
Mercury
it'll have
enters Libra.
completed the retrograde and be moving back
Forward.
Okay.
Yes. Direct's the better word to say about it.
There you go. Direct. My bad.
No, I didn't have it either, girl. I got it. But so at the end of the month, if there's things that you want to put in place with negotiations, writing, communicating with people, reaching out to people, there's a networking event that happens there. I would definitely do it then. Not that you can't do it at the beginning of the month, because, we got to do what we got to do. But if you're really like, oh, I've seen this networking event, in the end of September, should I go? Yes.
Yeah.
I would. It's a great time to support you through that. So basically, guys, just for your month of September, make sure to clean out anything that you don't want, whether it's physical, mental, spiritual, whatever it is. Let's get rid of that. Part of what's going to help us with those endings is that new moon in Virgo, which we're getting our systems in place, and then the full lunar eclipse in Pisces. So be ready for the unexpected. Be ready for the unexpected through the practical for this month. And I think the most important thing is we've got Halloween and Samhain coming up. So we're in a real magical time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just be ready. These changes that are happening in September, just keep in mind that they're good. This is the time things like that should be happening.
Okay. All right. That's good to know.
Yes.
Because, woo!
Right? Seemed kind of intense, right?
Yeah. But that's okay.
Yeah. That's okay. All right. I want to hear about my fall altar. What can I do?
Fall altar, what can you do? Well, okay. And I know you were like, yours are great. And I'm like, I feel like mine are chaotic. And I do, honestly, y'all, is I find things that feel, for this time, what feels autumnal to you, right?
Right.
What feels good? Do you have an altar cloth? You don't have to. Is it a cute napkin that you wanted to use instead? Put that out. Like, we don't have to get you don't have to be super aesthetic fancy unless you want to be. Right. And I know that used to hold me back. I'd see gorgeous altars online and be like, my altar's never going to look like that. So I don't need to mess with it. Like, don't do that. Okay.
No.
So, put what you like. I usually put like some acorns, some pine cones, things that I find while I'm out walking around or hiking or in the backyard. Or like I have a cute pumpkin like votive holder from the Dollar Tree that I was like, y'all know I have too many pumpkins in my life and I don't always put them away all year.
Why?
Because they're cute.
They're adorable.
So,
they bring you joy. They bring us joy.
Yes, exactly. So just put out what feels important to you. I know mine's going to be like lots of like oranges, reds, like those warm leaf colors. Yeah. I'll have a candle out, and sometimes you just feel it's whatever feels right for you. You know, because your altar candle doesn't necessarily have to be specifically magical correspondence, in my opinion. It's more like, what's the vibe that I feel like for that?
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
And depending on how woo you want to be, you can put whatever aspects of like, are there deities that you want to include in it? Do they have their own space? But I think it's just another way to build a space that is I'm comfortable here and it brings me my center. It's a place that I can sit and focus and like touch that point once a day or however often I go over there.
Yeah.
So
I love that.
Yeah. So put like whatever you like on there. Sometimes I put like cups of coffee out or apple cider on them. You can get, last year I bought one of those mini crock pots for simmer pots that sits over there. So I'm ready to bust that out. So you can just like have a little crock pot, simmer pot on your altar if you already have one. You don't have to spend money on things. If you want to, you can.
Yeah.
See what happens.
So
I chose the crock pot because when I was doing it on the stove, I overcooked one once and that wasn't fun. And this way you don't overcook it necessarily.
There you go.
So,
oh my God. I would totally do that. Safety.
Safety.
Yes, safety. So with the crock pot, like what do you put in, like, because I haven't done that before on my altar.
So
So
on mine for the crock pot, I put like, water base, or you can do like, if you want it to smell cidery, you can
mhm,
put cider in there. I put like, basically like for me, I like to put what would it kind of smell like
mhm.
to you, what feels that way. So I put like
Yeah,
cloves and star anise and maybe cut up an apple. You could throw an orange or
wonderful.
something in there.
Yeah.
Cinnamon, definitely.
Ooh.
And then you just let it simmer. And you can, again, like we always talk about, you can layer it as much as you want. Do you
Mhm.
talk to each element of it before
Element.
you put it in about
Mhm.
their energy? You can. Do you just throw it all in there and be like, this is going to be nice. I
Yeah,
hope it feels
that's
like this
okay
in
too.
here. You can do that too.
Yeah.
So, and it works. It's just whatever intention you're bringing into it. Do you make your
Mhm.
simmer pot into a spell? You could. I
Oh
don't
yeah.
necessarily do that because
Mhm.
that's not something I've tried. Maybe we'll try that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah,
Because it's bringing that energy into the air, right? The simmer pot's bringing the energy into the
right.
air.
Right.
So if you wanted to do something in your house where you wanted to bring that energy in the home, like the cinnamon could help with like bringing money in and things like that. You
Right.
could, right, talk to each ingredient, um,
Right.
let it simmer, and the smell is happening, and as that's wafting through the house, it's like for
And it's
everybody in the
feeling the
house, and
energy. Right.
right, and bringing the
Right.
opportunities in. And listen, if you're kind of like the undercover witch, like you do things in plain sight, that's a great way to do a spell for your family in your home, because it's just making the house smell great too, right?
Right, and depending on
Mhm.
what you put in there, cough, cough, if you put cedar in, it can help with, like, really good, like, mental health and clarity kind of
Ah,
situations, depending on how
right.
drama your family can be. So, and I have used that one, and
Mm.
it does work.
Yeah.
So,
Mm,
I was skeptical, 10 out of 10, highly recommend.
yes.
So,
Yeah,
uh,
yeah,
so use it for ambiance, use it for magic, use it just to, like, bring you to a place that you wanna be at during this time of year.
right,
So,
right.
yep. So mine usually has a candle, simmer pot, or incense. You could
Yeah.
do both if you wanted. How much you
Hey,
wanna layer,
listen,
you
layer as
know?
much as you want, right? I got a
Right?
question for someone.
Crystals.
Oh,
Oh, go
yeah.
ahead.
Well, no, no. So this will tie into that. So I got a question from somebody who didn't necessarily submit a question, but they were like, I listened to your
Sure.
podcast and I got a question. And I was like, okay.
Love that.
So I love it. So representations of the elements, right? So you have
Yes.
somebody who can't necessarily put a pentacle out to represent,
Sure.
like, so some undercover, let's give some folks some undercover witch ideas of, like,
Great.
how you can
Let's do it.
represent the elements.
So I do that all the time.
Yeah.
So air can be like a feather, it can be a bell, it
Mhm.
can be incense, right?
Oh, love it.
All of that's air. You don't
Yep.
have to have a big sword or knife out there if you don't
Nope.
want it, right?
Right.
Earth, I usually use stones like crystals or,
Yep.
just like a pretty rock.
Mhm.
Like, you could do that. You could even use like a pine cone or something like that.
Right.
Anything that feels earthy to you. Am I forgetting
Mhm.
anything on earth? I feel like that's only two.
Sometimes I've used salt in a little,
Oh,
like,
yeah, good one, like a
yeah,
salt in a yep,
yeah,
salt's a really good one.
that's a
Yep.
good one to use too. And if you have to keep it on the down low, you can kind of sprinkle it around your altar just
Mhm.
to have. Now, I know salt can take the dead away, but if you're not using that as an ancestral altar, you can do that. Okay. So
Right, you're
before
not, like,
someone,
banishing right.
you're not banishing, you're using it as that earth element. So that's
It's
okay to do.
represented yeah,
Mhm.
okay, good
Yep.
call, good
Yep.
call. I mean, I have little jars of water everywhere.
Well, also representations of the ocean, right?
Oh,
So you
well,
could
there's that
use
too, or shells. I've used
shells.
shells before.
Yep, I've done that too. Like, so some
Mhm.
folks have, like, and again, I'll mention Steven, our friend Steven Bragg, who I love, of course, and you love, we all love. In his house, he used to have different altar representations,
It's
and
gorgeous.
I
Yeah.
love, yeah, guys, amazing. He did one for Yemaya, and
Mhm.
it was all, a representation of the ocean and the seashells and coral and all this kind of stuff. So if you
Beautiful.
it was beautiful. And then he had a statue of Yamiya there, but if you can't have a statue, you can always just have, like, I want to have this beach feel in my house, just because, Yamiya's in the ocean. We just won't say
Right.
that out loud, but there you go. So you can do that. Yeah. I think
And you even do, like, pictures or, like, a painting or
a painting.
something.
Yep. Yep.
Mhm.
I was going to say that if you, like, have a picture of the ocean that you really love and feel connected to, that can be a water element.
Yeah.
Also,
Yep.
the spirits understand. They do understand.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. And then fire, of course, you can use a candle.
Mhm.
Um, You can use, I'm trying to think of some other fire, well, stones that are fire type of
Like
represent fire.
Yep.
And so you can use things like that. You can use a picture, you know, you can use a
Pictures are
picture.
great. I almost forgot it. They're great.
Yeah.
You can do that. You can even use like, I don't know why I'm thinking of it this way, but you could even use like an heirloom or something that kind of has that feeling to it. Like I
Oh,
have
yeah.
like a copper watering can that was my grandmother's that even if
Yeah.
I don't fill it with water, I could use that as that representation, right? I've got one
Yeah.
that's like a little cauldron that
So
could be the fire
cute.
one, but without fire. But it's, you know what I mean? It's
Yeah. Yeah.
if you know what it's there for,
That's
it's
all that
there for
matters.
that. Right.
Right. That's what matters is the intention you put into it. Another one that I know someone has done is like they have a fireplace and they have like a mantle. So above the fireplace was the fire element, and
Is
then
the
above
fire.
that was everything else, so that it,
Yep.
just,
Yep.
was kind of hidden in plain sight. So you can do things like that.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to some sunflowers on my fall altar because I love sunflowers and those like yellows and gold colors. Like, so you
So
can
pretty.
use gold things like there that you want to, if you have like a gold, like an heirloom of an ancestor that you want to
Ooh,
use
yeah.
there,
You
you
could
can
even
use that.
use jewelry if you wanted. You could use, yeah.
Yeah. So I love those. And then, like you said, the oranges and even some of just like the maroony colors too are great
So
to
pretty.
use. So
Yeah.
pretty. So it can be just like, your fall decorations, but it's got some spirit there or some, a focus point.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's your fall representation. And, if you have, go ahead. Go ahead,
I was
Jules.
gonna say, and just make it look pretty to you, like whatever you think,
Right.
It doesn't
Right.
necessarily, unless you're doing some formal work, it doesn't necessarily have to be in a certain position, in a
No.
certain direction, all that. You could just
Yeah.
make it what feels good for you. And if you want to do extra, and you can do extra in that
Yep.
way, obviously add those elements of whatever tradition you're following.
Right.
But yeah,
Yeah.
especially if you're just starting or you have to be real undercover or whatever, just whatever works for you.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you'll know.
You'll know.
Yeah.
It's true. It's true. And I think that's the thing. You feel like you have to make it your own because it's your representation and your focal point. So, I mean, yes, there's always like, well, put things that are supposed to go in the east, like, let's be smart.
If
But
you can, awesome.
awesome. If you can't, then you've made some other, intentions or said like, this is how I'm going to use this or that, then that's fine. The spirits are going to understand it. It's your space. It's what makes you happy and content and where you think you can do, any manifestation work. You may walk by every day and look at it and say, I really want my fall to be full of like all these colors and brightness and stuff. Well, that's setting an intention and working it every day,
And I will say, just from what you put in the east kind of thing, if you put them where they're supposed to go and it doesn't work out, that's okay. Just switch it around. Sure did set my hair on fire because I was trying to put things in the right spot and I was working a spell and I set my hair on fire when I leaned over because I wasn't used to it being where it was supposed to be. We won't go way into that, but
yes.
Just FYI, if it doesn't work, don't force it.
Right. Also true. Yes. I know, like, listen, some people, they're very comfortable with like, it has to be, this has to be here. This has to be here. But if like Julie's saying, like, you don't usually do that and you have your everything set up the way that works for you, then that's going to work better. I mean, I think when you have it so personalized, that's going to work better. But there's different schools of thoughts. Like, I don't want to.
And I was trying something out and being a little too rigid about it. And was there in the right spot when I set the spell? Yeah. Did I decide it needed to stay there for the week and a half that it needed to be there? And I checked something and So these past few shows keep coming back to fire safety. Well, this is how it goes.
I think it shows that we are definitely witches that really live it, because if you're a witch and you haven't set some of your hair on fire, I mean, come on, what are you doing? Like,
it turned out pretty well too. So it ended up working out okay. I didn't burn myself. It actually turned into a layer. I got sleep token tickets out of it. It all worked out.
It worked out. But no, I've had, this a little chunk here that's gone up. I'm like, oh man, I was leaning, and things went on fire. Yep. So if you haven't set your hair on fire, I don't know what you're doing, really. Get some more fire in your life. Jeez.
Let's do some work.
Let's do some right. Come on, guys. Like, what you gotta get your hands and your hair dirty. It's just what it
Oh
is.
my God.
Oh, but listen, so
Oh
that's
my
make
God.
it your own. Have your beautiful focal point. Just something, even if it makes you happy every day. That's a way to get some magic out into the
Yeah,
world. Right?
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, Jules, this was a great episode. I
I
hope.
hope so. I hope
Yeah.
they enjoyed it as much as we enjoyed
As we did. Yeah.
talking about it.
Yes. And we want to hear from you guys. So, Jules, I will leave it up to you to tell everyone how to find us.
Oh, well, you can email us at highpriestesshypeclub@gmail.com. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok at High Priestess Hype Club. You can visit Mary at her website, me at my website.
Yeah.
Well, Linktree,
Linktree.
Instagram. And one day there will be a website. How many episodes are we going to talk about this? Is it my habit tracker in my bullet journal where it just keeps moving to the next week for a year and a half? Maybe. Maybe we'll get it done. Maybe this Virgo season will help. And
Right.
other than that, you can go to our website at
Yes.
hypeclub.live.
Yes. And guys, we thank you for hanging in with us, because we appreciate you, because we are two witches that are trying to help you through it. That's we are. We are witchy aunts. So here we are.
Here we are.
Here we are. And as usual, guys, be careful, take care of yourself, and remember, you are magic. Thanks, guys. See you next time.
Bye.
Follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook at High Priestess Hype Club, and subscribe to us on whatever platform you're currently listening to us on now, because we're back every Thursday to hype you up. Email us at highpriestesshypeclub@gmail.com and tell us what you think. We'd love to hear from you. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week.